Good morning, Rise and Freedom. I'm Austin Peterson. You're watching and listening to the Wake Up America show at wakeupamerica.show.com. Glad to have you here today. Hope you're all feeling great, in a good mood. Let's talk about some freedom. Glad to have you all here already. Joni Rankin joining us. Caleb Vanderfelt's Friday Eve. Hit me with some freedom talk. Hell yeah. Tech Ninja, nice to see you again. Corey C is here with us today. Zooey Mama, nice to see ya. Oh, Zooey Mama. Doug H here with us. He says, new music, or has it just been so long since I've been here for the pre-show that I've missed it? Yeah, it was new music. Yeah, I'm always, every day, I typically try and add one little thing here or there so that there's always something new and interesting, especially for the people who watch the show every single day. And if you watch the show every single day, you already know what to do, right? Because you've already done it. What is it? Oh, yeah, that's right. You smashed that like button and you have helped us to spread the message of economic freedom and personal liberty. And all you had to do was go thumbs up wherever you're watching us this morning. Nice to see you, John Rail. Good morning to you, too. Hey, buddy. Mansour, is that French? Andy Opperman's here with us as well, doing some karate kicks. I had a good karate class last night in Jefferson City. Felt good about it. You know, it's funny because when I got to Jefferson City, I was really sad about the fact that there wasn't like a real karate school, and I won't go on this tangent for too long, but I'm starting to kind of come to grips with it because we have this Wednesday night class that goes on here in Jeff, which is kind of, it's an American karate class. It's not like a traditional Japanese karate like I'm used to, right? So at first I kind of balked at it. I'm kind of like, oh, all right, but I just needed people to train with, so it's fine. But I'm, one of the senior members of the class, and there's a lot of these young kids who are really excited about karate, who have never been able to take a Japanese traditional class before. So when they see me in class doing the old school Shotokan and Kyokushin style, I could tell that they really look up to me, which is kind of fun, right? So I've kind of taken some of these kids under my wing and been teaching them some of the real Japanese, like teaching them the Japanese words for the moves that we're doing and stuff. And it's been a lot of fun to kind of see them looking up to me. And sometimes I lead the warm up in the class. And I guess like there's something really heartwarming about it in this small town, that I get to kind of bring my experience with traditional karate dojos that I learned from New York City and in Washington, D.C. And I took a class in Japan recently too, to be able to bring that to my small town, because, it's nice, even though wish that I was constantly getting beat up by masters who were much better than me. Now I am kind of the older guy, which I'm not I'm a master, but they call me Sensei now, which is kind of cool, Sensei Peterson. So anyways, it's funny story, has nothing to do with anything, but here's the thing. So I got to confess to you all today, the news is slow. Like, we're heading into spring. I guess, I don't know if it's spring break or whatever. I guess school is out. People graduated. I don't know what's going on with schools anymore. But everything's kind of slowing down. The news cycles have kind of slowed down. So when I'm reading the news in the evening, usually there's like some big earth-shattering news. And I know, hey, I got to bring that to you, and I got to bring you these clips, and I got to make sure that you're fully informed with what's going on. But every once in a while, we got to be honest, in the news business, there's just not a lot going on, but we still got a job, and I got 2 hours to fill. So what do? Well, I go and I find stories that are going to make Camellia blush. Wait until CJ comes on at 8 o'clock today. And at 8 a.m. this morning, Camellia Peterson is going to go full-blown squirm mode. I know you guys are excited about it, because I read this story yesterday. It made me laugh. I was like, this is perfect for Camellia. This is the headline from the New York Post. I make men submit a 500-word essay to date me. Do not waste my time. And of course, Camellia being a fan of the written and spoken word, I thought she might have something to say about this lady. Well, I can't call her a young lady, but I won't reveal her age until we get to the segment. Oh, it's going to be squirmy. If you're looking for squirm, Camelia's 8 o'clock segment is going to be super squirmy. New polls out that were published. I read the New York Post every day. It's such a great paper. Biden up 7 points over Donald Trump in the 2024 popular vote. This poll shows President Biden would expand his 2020 margin of victory over Trump if a rematch were held today, according to a new poll exclusively shared with the Post on Wednesday. We're going to talk about that today with Dominic Izzo. He's going to be joining us today at 7:30 a.m. This is Central Time. I'm discussing, so 7:05 here. That means about 25 minutes from now, Dominic is a retired cop and Wing Chun expert himself, he's a martial arts guy himself. He's going to be joining us today at 7:30, I think. Because remember earlier this week he was supposed to be on the show and then he just slept through the alarm. You know why? It was because he was taking my buddy John Burke's products over at Shell Shock CBD. I kid you not. Because I saw him do an Instagram video like 20 minutes after he was supposed to be, he woke up, he was supposed to be on my show. He did this Instagram video where he blamed it on shellshockcbd.com. So if honestly, it's a good time to go ahead and just plug that, I guess, since we're here. But shellshockcbd.com. If you're not sleeping very well, this stuff's gonna knock your ass out. So anyways, hopefully he'll be here today. Sure he will. Yeah, so he'll be here to talk about that poll. Todd in Minnesota is joining us this morning. Hey, Todd, what's going up, brother? I got news. $40,000 dentist bill. Whoa, me broke. Yikes. Dude, what happened, man? Sorry to hear about that. Yikes. How do you get a $40,000 dental bill, man? I tell you what, that's some expensive dental bills there. Good morning to all of our friends who are joining us on Rumble as well. Nice to see you. One Patriot listeners here this morning. Good morning to you, sir. I have to run my own chat these days because I don't have any help. I need someone to hire. The Blue Trike says the polls that showed Trump losing the first time. So who really knows? Everything has become so unpredictable. Good point. And I'm sure Dominic Israel will probably feel the same way. At 8:30 today, Daniela Pensac's going to be on. This story, I know that this is supposed to be a tragedy, but to me, it sounds like the plot of like a 90s sex comedy. Apparently, some guy who decided that he is trans got himself into, and he doesn't do any of the transition stuff. He is, and I say he because he doesn't like dress up as a woman, like very rarely does it. Hasn't undergone any hormone therapy, hasn't transitioned chemically or physically, surgically, if you will. Joined a sorority. And I know what you're thinking, because I'm thinking it too. Brilliant move. And apparently, that's what I'm reading in the story. Apparently, he sits around in the hallways and creeps on the girls. I know. The conservatives are sitting there fuming right now. This is terrible. This is the end of Western civilization. I know. I'm supposed to jump on board the culture and bring the destroyed. I get it. But can't we at least just laugh for just 1 minute? I mean, apparently he's been sitting there creeping on the girls and he gets erections. I know I shouldn't say that word on the show this early in the morning, and it's probably going to get me demonetized. But can you just picture it? The guy's sitting there in the sorority and he's just like, and he's acting all creepy. For God's sakes, it is kind of funny, isn't it? Come on, please. I know.
How dare you?
How dare you, Austin? How dare you? I just think that it's hilarious. Hey, Tommy Brown the third is joining us this morning. He says, hello, Austin. How you doing, my friend? Nice to see you again. Wow. John Knox says, I thought my dentist bills were expensive. Holy smokes. Yeah, good to see you. Matt Unruh. Hey, how you doing, Matt? Don't forget your AK-47 is coming in on Friday. So tomorrow you'll be able to pick that gun up that we gave away. Yes, we give away awesome stuff on the Wake Up America show, including stuff from our AP for Liberty Shop store. Did you guys see the new whiskey glasses that I made yesterday? Some people were really excited about them. And somebody contacted me from the Libertarian Party of Florida last night and was like, I have a bottle of untaxed rum and they're going to be gifting it away. So they asked if I would make untaxed rum glasses. So I did. Untaxed rum is the best rum, but I also had the untaxed whiskey is the best whiskey. And I think our buddy Studio 314 bought a couple. So thanks for that, Studio 314, for y'all purchase. I made some awesome other whiskey glasses as well. If you guys have ideas for products, again, send them over to me. Just note that when you send me suggestions for products, I pressure you with high pressure sales tax to buy them. Just kidding. All right. Let's talk about the news. Not that there is a whole lot of news because there's only a little bit of news, but the news that I have is kind of fun. Okay, so Aubrey Plaza, do you know her from Parks and Rec? She's the one who like does the very serious acting. Ashley A says, we have our whole family watching. Please shout out our son Billy on his first field trip today to the zoos. Billy, going to the zoo. Oh man, that's gonna be a great field trip. Your very first field trip, Billy? Do you get to pack a snack? What kind of snacks are you bringing? That was always my favorite part of the field trips was that we would go and we would pack snacks. Ashley, also, I'll watch my language a little bit this morning. I'll be very careful about what I say because I know that little Billy's listening in. Oh, Billy. Billy, congrats on your first field trip. Have fun. Be good. Don't get eaten by the bears and don't get into the lion's pen. Okay. And watch out for the monkeys if they have the open cages because they throw poo. So right. Let's talk about the news. So Aubrey Plaza, anyway, so she's getting roasted by the left because she did I guess they're calling it anti-vegan, this wood milk ad. Did you see this? Apparently this happened like 3 weeks ago. I'm sorry I missed it, and I would have brought it to you before, but I'm bringing it to you now, and it's absolutely hilarious. So she's basically poking fun at people who are making soy milk, almond milk, and all that kind of stuff. It's lighthearted. It's a milk ad, but I actually think it's kind of funny. Take a listen. Oh, or maybe we should go to our Twitter weirdness scene and then you can take a listen. Okay, here we go.
Hi, I'm Aubrey Plaza. You know me as an actress, but I'm also the co-founder of Wood Milk, the world's first and only milk made from wood. Wood Milk started with a simple idea. I saw a tree and I asked myself, can I drink this? As it turns out, the answer is yes, if you make it into milk. Here at Wood Milk Orchards, we grow our trees the old-fashioned way, right out of the ground. And we're certain our eco-friendly, artisanal, free-range wood milk will be the only milk you'll want to drink for the rest of your life. Why? Because you're thirsty, and because you want it. Because you want that wood as your milk. Our wood milk is bottled right here in the forest, which locks in the flavors like oak, cherry, maple, and of course mahogany. And if you can't pick your favorite, that's okay, because they all taste like wood. Now let's take a look at how wood milk is
Now,
born.
come on now, Aubrey. We all know that different wood tastes different because we use it for our smokers, but this is funny stuff. Let's get
Not
to free
born,
range.
exactly. More like squished into a slime that's legal to sell. If a tree falls in the forest, can you make milk out of it?
Whoever wrote this, by the way, is absolutely brilliant. Very funny. Good parody of hippies today. I think it's pretty funny.
Now it's time to enjoy the fruits of our efforts. Not fruits, wood.
Fruits wood, yes. Oh, God, look at that.
Got wood?
I see Robbie called it. Robbie with the joke earlier. Different wood tastes different. It does. Okay. It's a little early for my grammar to be that good. Camellia, shut up. You can roast me later.
Is wood milk real? Absolutely not. Only real milk is real. Then what did I invest in?
Okay, so very funny ad. I thought it was good. What about you? I think it was great. If you like whiskey, you're already drinking wood. Very good point there, Chris. If those whiskey barrels, you are drinking wood. Wood does see wood tastes good. But anyway, so she's getting roasted over this, and there's like first of all, the vegan websites, of course, are torching her, and people are coming out and attacking. She had to turn off comments on her Instagram page because people were so mad about this Got Milk ad. And then there's this really snobby food blog called Bon Appetit that's attacking Aubrey Plaza, but doing it in like the snottiest way possible. She's so they describe what's happening in the ad, and they say struggling against a world where the FDA has officially let almond, oat, and soy cop its name. Big Milk has paid Plaza huge bucks to convince the youth to please drink dairy. And the viral spoof was created by the Milk Processor Education Program, Milk Pep. It's an industry marketing firm that's funded by big dairy producers. And they're also the ones that came up with the iconic Got Milk campaign, which ran from the 1990s until 2014. And I think everybody could agree that the Got Milk commercial from the 1990s, I mean, that's got to be one of maybe the best commercial of all time. I think like in terms of like commercial contests, the Got Milk ad from the 90s still is considered to be like the best commercial ever made.
And that was the Vienna Wood Dance in D, one of my all-time favorites. And now let's make that random call with today's $10,000 question. It's a tough one. Who shot Alexander Hamilton in that famous duel? All right, let's go to the phones and see who's out there.
Hello?
Hello, for $10,000, who shot... Excuse me?
Hold on, let me get some milk.
I'm afraid your time is almost up. I'm sorry, maybe next time.
Very good. Got milk? Yes. Well, Aubrey Plaza is getting ripped by the vegans. They're so that she's getting called a dairy propagandist for siding with Big Milk. Oh no!
Please, no!
The outrage got so real that she turned off her comments on the Instagram post. Aubrey, no! Screamed one TikToker. Why on earth are you getting in bed with Got Milk? Nobody likes milk. Literally nobody. Oh my God, this is so funny. Bon appetit, the blog writes. The thing is, the youth's Big Milk wants to conscript have already Austin, can you please speak? Have already defected from this culture war. Fresh off a White Lotus season, Plaza must have seemed like a platonic ambassador to rally Zoomers and millennials back to the dairy, but it's too late. Despite clever milk marketers inventing Shark Tank-like contests and deploying athletes and famous YouTubers to fight milk's flop era, last year Gen Z customers bought 20% less cow's milk than the national average. It's very sad. So apparently, the vegnews.com website's getting honored too. They're trying because they're all talking about how people aren't drinking as much cow's milk as they were back in the day. But more people are probably realizing that they're lactose intolerant, right? So dairy milk is still a larger industry than plant-based milk, and not all dairy products like cheese have lost favor with younger generations, but liquid milk consumption has been steadily declining since 1975. Plant-based milk is now actually a household item for a lot of people. It's been surging in retail sales. You got to give it to the veggies on that one. 8.5% in retail sales to reach $2.8 billion. Currently, 15% of all milk sold in the United States is a plant-based, of which almond, oat, and soy saw the most growth last year. Now, of course, one of the places where big dairy kind of has had a stronghold for decades is in school lunches. Dairy milk is, put on the lunch trays of about 30 million kids a year, whether they want it or not. And the USDA does provide a reimbursement of $1 billion for cow's milk to public schools across the country. The USDA reports, though, that 29% of the cartons of milk served in schools are thrown out unopened. So that sends, of course, millions of dollars down the drain. Turn it into cheese. Make more cheese, says Barney Styles. Amen. Yes. Ashley says she got her Call the Cops shirt in. By the way, love it. Ashley, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Ashley, please do us a favor, if you wouldn't mind, if you take a picture of you wearing it and post a picture of you with a 5-star review on the product page. All you have to do is go to the you'll probably get an email that will request the review, but if not, you can just take the picture and then go to the product page and post the picture and give it a nice review. That would be really helpful to us. I appreciate that. If it's a funny review too, by the way, just say something silly about it or whatever, that's even better, because then I can share it and sell more shirts. I'd be grateful for that. We all know somebody here who hasn't written any reviews for their products from the AP for Liberty's shot, don't we? We'll talk to her at 8 a.m. this morning. Well, the nice thing about the Wake Up America show is, we're going to sometimes, even the days where the news is a little bit slow, we still have fun, and you still learn a little bit about what's going on with milk in our schools, and we get to have a fun conversation about that. What did you think? Elon Musk really, to me, I thought responded well. You are a fishmonger. Sorry, a little Shakespeare there. Excellently. Be excellent to one another. In this interview on CNBC yesterday, when he was asked why he continues to tweet his opinions so much, if they're harming the stock price or his investors' plans to grow the stock of the companies that he oversees, I thought his response here was usually pretty fantastic. Take a listen to this.
But how do you make a choice? You don't see, I mean, in terms of when you're going to engage. I mean, for example, even today, Elon, you tweeted this thing about George Soros. Well, I'm
always
looking for it 'cause
throwing
I
up
wanna make
chaff
sure I
for
quote it
George
properly.
Soros.
But I mean, you know what you wrote. But you
I said
basically.
it reminds me of Magneto. It's just like, calm down, people. Let's just not like make a federal case out of it.
You also you said he wants to erode the very fabric of civilization, and Soros hates humanity. Like, when you do something like that, do you
Yeah, I think that's true. That's my opinion.
Okay.
I love that. I think that's true. That's my opinion. Yeah, he's allowed to have an opinion. Good for you, Elon. But this is good stuff. I mean, they're trying to roast him, and honestly, the CNBC questioner, we all want to hate him and all that stuff. But this is a really good line of question that he's asking, because there are a lot of people who are invested in Elon's companies who do get concerned about what he says when he tweets if it harms their stock price, because they're capitalists. But let's continue.
But why share it? Why share it? Especially because, I mean, why share it when people who buy Teslas may not agree with you? Advertisers on Twitter may not agree with you. Why not just say, hey, I think this. You can tell me. We can talk about it over there. You can tell your friends. But why share it widely?
I mean, this is freedom of speech. I'm allowed to say what I
You
want.
absolutely are. But I'm trying to understand why you do, because you have to know it's got a. It puts you in the middle of the partisan divide in the country. It makes you a lightning rod for criticism. I mean, do you like that? People today saying he's an anti-Semite. I don't think you are.
No, I'm definitely not.
Why would you say that unless you were trying to stoke him? Yeah. People say you're an anti-Semite. People who says that, right? Anybody who criticizes a Jewish person who happens to be a leftist, right? So whenever you attack a left socialist, if they happen to be a Jew, oh, well, they call you an anti-Semite. It's just so stupid. Anyways, Elon's getting to the good part. Elon's going to get asked the question again, and he's going to take a long. Remember the other day when I was talking about the power of the pregnant pause? Take a listen to this.
I'm like a pro-Semite, if anything.
I believe that probably is the case.
Yes.
But why would you even introduce the idea then that would be the case?
I mean, look, we don't want to make this a George Soros interview.
No, God, no.
right.
I don't want to at all. But what I'm trying.
Yeah,
even
sure.
came up though in the annual meeting. I mean, do your tweets hurt the company? Are there Tesla owners who say, I don't agree with his political position and I know it because he shares so much of it? Or are there advertisers on Twitter that Linda Yaccarino will come and say, you got to stop, man. Or, I can't
That's
get these
true.
ads because of some of the things you tweet.
I'm reminded of there's a scene in The Princess Bride. Great movie.
Great movie.
Where he confronts the person who killed his father. And he says, offer me money. Offer me power. I don't care.
So you just don't care. You want to share what you have to say.
I'll say what I want to say, and if the consequence of that is losing money, so be it.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Ooh, see, now if Camellia wasn't H-word enough this morning, she will be later when we talk about the 500-word essay. I bet she's blushing now. It's going to be a fun show today. Dominic Izzo, hopefully he's awake. He didn't eat too much of John Burke's gummies over at shellshockcbd.com. If he's awake, then we're going to get him on the show. We're going to talk about this new poll the New York Post is pushing. Why are they pushing a poll that shows Donald Trump getting beaten by Joe Biden 7 points? They say that Biden beats Trump again, but most Trump supporters think that Trump won the last election, which would be a problem because he's running for election again, and no president can be elected 3 times. So there's a bit of a constitutional crisis there. I'll ask Dominic what he thinks about that when we get back on the Wake Up America show at wakeupAmericaShow.com.
I like shooting things, but whenever I can't shoot something, I like to cut things. My life isn't all about shooting and stabbing and cutting, though. Sometimes I have to do actual work, but when I work, I still like to have fun. And there's nothing less fun than trying to cut with a crappy knife. Thankfully, from the ancient sect of Christian knights, who also loved cutting and stabbing, comes a new implement that has received my personal blessing, the Templar knife. Like the ancient sword of Excalibur, you don't choose a Templar knife, it chooses you. You just decide what kind you want on the website first, however, and then order it online, and then it chooses you. The Templar knife comes in a variety of shapes. As a man of culture and taste, I have decided I will never use a terrible knife again. And thanks to the inspiration provided by this excellent product, I have decided to launch a new crusade against anyone using less than superior knives. Join me, brothers and sisters, by visiting uppercuttactical.com/pages/Templar-knives. That's a lot of slashes. For that, you'll need a Templar knife. For 10% off, use code AP for Liberty and join me in a quest for glory, for liberty, for Christendom, for the Templar knife. Get yours today. Fire.
Hello, this is Barack Obama, and let me tell you why Austin Peterson stinks, and you should never pay attention to anything that he has to say. First of all, he's a libertarian, and we all know libertarians are idiots. They don't realize how important government is to everything that we do. I recently became aware that Austin has opened up a libertarian shop at apforlibertyshop.com. Now, I'm asking you as a personal favor to me that you never ever visit apforlibertyshop.com. With all of the great Liberty merchandise there, the last thing that we need to do is to get people spreading this message around the country, because then they might start thinking that they don't need government. And that's the last thing that good Democrats like us want. So if you love democracy, like me, and hate freedom, then don't visit AP for Liberty Shop. Like I said, whatever you do, do not visit apforlibertyshop.com. I'm Barack Obama, and I approve this message.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move, so I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day, I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
I would remind you that extremism in the defense of liberty is no vice.
It is better to settle these matters in the courts than on the streets, and new laws are needed at every level. But law alone cannot make men see right.
Good morning, Rise and Freedom. I'm Austin Peterson. You're watching and listening to the Wake Up America show at wakeupAmericaShow.com. Happy Friday Eve. Thanks so much for tuning in. Today is the 18th of May. We're grateful to have you here at 7:30 Central Time. Time for Wakey Wakey, Eggs and Bakey. Well, my next guest, he actually made it today. Yes, I guess he didn't take too much of John Burke's Shell Shock CBD last night. You got to watch that dosage. Officer Dom. He's a former police officer, and he is also the host of Rants of Izzo. Dominic Izzo joining us now for his second appearance on the show. Could have been his third, but good to see you, Dom. How you doing, brother?
It was the roll on, roll out. It actually got me to sleep through the night without shoulder pain. I was blown away how awesome it was.
Yeah, the one with the
Yeah,
tank on the cover there.
that is, well, I don't know how old you are. I'm, coming up on 50. That stuff is a miracle for, so far I've used that shoulder pain, elbow pain, and lower back pain. Unbelievable.
I got to do that because now that I'm over 40, I'm 42. I was doing karate last night, and I woke up this morning. I'm like limping as I get out of bed. Didn't used to be like that.
If you haven't used that yet, use it. It's incredible.
Okay, I'm going to do that for sure. Thank you for that. Dominic, I'm glad to have you here to talk about something from an angle that I know not a lot of Republicans or right wingers have the balls to take on, which is a poll that shows Joe Biden beating Donald Trump by 7 points. Not really very fun to talk about, but because the Trump people are all out there touting this poll showing DeSantis is down 30 points. I thought, well, here's a poll that shows that you're not going to beat Joe Biden. Do you believe it?
Well, first of all, I'm going to kind of qualify this segment by saying, really? You bring me on for this when you've got a got milk wood commercial, sorority dude, an essay of all the other awesome stuff we could have talked about. You choose this. Yeah, I read the articles and the polls. I don't trust polls anymore. I don't think they've gotten a poll accurate in the last 3 election cycles. And then furthermore, it's always how they I'm guilty, very guilty, because of how often and how quick my attention span goes to something else. It's like I'll read titles only. So I'm like, oh, there's a poll, and I start sweating. Joe Biden's ahead. Polls taken from about 1,500 people. I'm like, that's an afternoon at the mall. It's like so. I don't know. Polls are garbage. Biden's not winning in any poll. No.
I've been in politics for a long time. I know what polls are all about. Polls aren't really commissioned to tell you how people think. They're commissioned to tell people what to think. Right. Imagine basing your views on what you should do or who you should vote for based on a poll. But so many people do, Dominic. They're like, because you know what it is? It's probably the majority of voters. They want to vote for the guy they think they can win. What the hell is wrong with people?
Well, can we kind of parallel that? And I don't want to get off topic at all, but
no, go ahead.
It's influence. It's sheep. It's the sheep thing. I don't know if you've talked about this yet. We don't have to get into this, but it's like the border. The border problem that we have that's coming through, and then the incessant vilification of the people coming through. And I'm not going to sit there and have your listeners start getting irritated at me saying he's supporting open borders. No, what I'm saying is for those of us who are old enough to remember 9/11, is after that happened, we went on a hating spree of anybody who was of a certain color, had a certain ethnic sounding name, or would wear a certain type of headpieces on their head, right? Because of the groupthink. Well, we're doing the same thing with what's going on at the border, and that'll be the same thing with what's going on in polls. So all this, we're so easily influenced and swayed. It's ridiculous.
Officer Dom, you are what we might call in the high society, dark white. What's your ethnic background?
Oh yeah, well if when it gets hot out here in Chicago, I look like a charcoal briquette. I'm from Italy, so don't let the blue eyes and then the gray hair fool you. When that sun gets on me, I can hide in with my African brothers. If anybody hasn't seen True Romance, you know exactly what my heritage is.
I love True Romance. That's one of my favorite films. A great early Quentin Tarantino film.
He wrote it, and Tony Scott directed it.
Yeah, great film there. If you're just tuning into the Wake Up America show, I'm your host, Austin Peterson. I'm speaking to Officer Dominic Izzo. He's a retired cop, and he is also the host of the Rants of Izzo show, as well as a fellow martial artist. He teaches Wing Chun. And I've been enjoying your videos. Listening to you talk about martial arts. I've got them all on my playlist now, so maybe we'll hit up on that later. But I want to talk to you again about the sort of rematch that is setting up between Joe Biden and Donald Trump. Listen, I don't know that anybody really wants to see a rematch of what we saw in 2020. It was the most bitter, divisive campaign I think I've seen in my entire lifetime. And I don't want to have to make that choice again, Dominic. I'd like to think that there are other choices or that there is a Republican primary. We know that the Democrats aren't going to have a debate, but the Republicans are. And quite frankly, there are some other good, strong candidates. I may not think that Vivek Ramaswamy is going to win, but I think the primary is a healthy thing for us. And I'd like to hear from some other people, wouldn't you?
I think here's why I agree with you is because it sets up for what happens after 2024. I can't pronounce his name. Vikram, is that it? He is unbelievably intelligent. And when he first popped on, I was like, I don't know how I feel about this guy, but I want to hear more from him. The reason being is I think it's going to set the standard. The danger of making this a solo Trump show. Now, I'm a Trump supporter, voted for him. If he's running, I will vote for him again. The danger is who after him then? Well, what happens after the next 4 years of somebody being in office? Even if he doesn't get elected, you need to start seeing who can wind up continuing our country going down the path that we need it to go. And so many people, they're not a fan of his mouth and his ways and this and that. And I've talked about it several times. You know, I work best for somebody who makes completely clear what the tasks at hand are. Get this done. And I don't care if they're using expletives. I don't like convolution, or I don't like things to be just like assumed. I'm not a mind reader, so I like a person who's going to be very hard nosed. That's how I work. I understand that most liberals, they don't even understand what that concept is, taking direction. Personality aside, I want to see who else has the brains to wind up moving forward that I need to vote for the next 40 years of my life. So yeah, I think there needs to be a debate. I also think that if you're going to put Trump in back in that position, why do you not want to pressure test the front runner? Okay, iron sharpens iron. Let's see if he can come back out this round again and then just hit it with the same gusto, if you will, that he did last time. So I think primary is a great thing.
I do too. But Dominic, do you think that the primary, the way it's shaping up right now, it's kind of a repeat of 2016, where you had all those Tea Party candidates and they all just kind of copied each other, and Trump was the only one who stood out? If you think about it, the challenge with DeSantis is that he really does fish in the same pools as Trump. And I can't remember who made this metaphor, but they said, "Oh, if the real band is still playing, why would you go see the cover band when the real band is still out there?" I mean, there is kind of setting up that dynamic right now in the primary, wouldn't you say?
I don't understand the whole DeSantis Trump thing. I don't get it at all. I don't understand why people are pitting them against each other. I don't understand why Trump, unless it's all stuff that we're not privy to, you know, the behind the scenes kind of like, hey, Ron, it's Donald. All right, I'm gonna tomorrow I'm gonna call you Ron DeSanctimonious, just so you know. I don't know if they're doing that garbage, but at the same time, it's like, yeah, he's Trump 2.0 to a degree. I want to see an individual. So I do want Trump to kind of debate DeSantis, because yeah, their policies are going to align. But again, after Trump is gone 4 years from now, if he winds up after the 2024 election, then DeSantis, will he be more sharpened during this process to go to the next, or maybe this is it too. You would understand this. We're males. We like to compete. Have you've been in, I'm sure, fights where afterwards you form an alliance with somebody, and because you've been tested and put through that fire, it's like you bond with them. Who's to say that Trump and DeSantis don't go at it, and afterwards there's a bigger bond between the two of them, and now you get Trump, who's probably, you know, somebody who respects the people who challenge him, and Trump is a big DeSantis supporter because, hey, you gave me a test, run for my money, and now I support you.
I
So
want
don't
to
know.
believe that, but that requires me to believe the best in human beings, and they're
Yeah.
just continually proving us wrong on that, Dominic.
I
Dominic,
am naive, I guess.
yeah. What about the Kanye West factor? You know, he is running for president still.
Well, yeah.
Gay,
Anyways,
gay black Nazis for president.
could you imagine? I was in a band called Gay Black Nazis for President. Wow. Tribute to Aretha Franklin. We only had 2 gigs.
It is. It's the sideshow, but it is a show.
Dude, it's like oh crap. Well, it's like the Libertarian Party, who I would consider myself a libertarian, but when I ran for sheriff out here in Cook County, Chicago area, the Libertarians, I actually met them. They're not right in the head. They're not. Or you had, what was his name? Gary who
Johnson.
ran. Right, Gary. It's like, all right, libertarians could probably find up, you know, cracking the surface to get in there. What's Aleppo? Okay, fine. I didn't know what Aleppo was. That's fine, because I'm not on the world stage politics. But what killed me was when he faked the heart attack from weed, and then he went down on the panel. I'm like, you son of a, you had the right time to introduce the party, and you blew it.
So you might not know that was the year that I ran for president and took second place to Gary Johnson in that primary. So you have to understand that my gums were bleeding from like grinding my teeth.
Are you serious or joking?
Yeah, no, I'm serious. In 2016, at 35 years old, I ran for president as a libertarian. And there was like 16 of us running, and it was me, Gary Johnson, and John McAfee, who were like the top three front runners.
Mhm.
And I barely edged out McAfee for second place, but Gary beat me. And then I gave him a gift of a replica of George Washington's flintlock pistol as kind of like a sign of my respect. And he promptly threw it in the garbage. And it came out on the news and stuff like that he like threw my gun in the trash and all that stuff. My supporters at the convention like brought the gun back to me and stuff like that. They kept the like after Fox News broke the story, the Gary Johnson people like came in, were trying to write me like giving me a blank check to like buy it back and stuff like that, but I kept it. So it's a long, funny, sad story.
There's
But
something with libertarians. There's something with the party that the ideals are great, but the party can't get together. Illinois, during the same year I ran for sheriff, we had a governor election. It was between Rauner, who was the incumbent, J.B. Pritzker, who we have in office now, and they had two libertarians running, and Cash Jackson was the name of one of them. And he was a friend of mine at the time. Cash Jackson went on to debate everybody, and polling was advertised on NBC, I believe. He won 54% of the opinion that he won the vote, and he was never invited back to any other debate again. It's just like the libertarians, whenever they get a chance at something, either the powers that be, screw them over, or they screw them over from inside themselves.
You know what it is, Dominic? It's funny is that somebody like me is that I'm too much of a normie for libertarians. Like they don't trust me because, regular hygiene, speak well, right? Think Oswald was the lone gunman, right? That 9/11 was an outside job and things like that. But then as a Republican, right, I joined the Republican Party in 2017. But as a Republican, I'm a wild man. Like I'm a psycho. Like they thought I was a Satan worshiper, and like all these rumors spread here in Missouri about me worshiping the devil and being this hedonist. And I'm too lewd and crude for the Republicans, too normal for the libertarians. I just don't know where I belong, Dominic.
I don't even know anymore, but you know what? I think I'm gonna project this on your show for your audience. I think 2024 is going to be the last presidential election. I think it's it. I really do. I think it's just going to be a big juke after that. I think there is going to be massive election fraud on purpose to sit there and buckle down and say we can't trust anything, and whoever's in office, which they're probably going to wind up having Joe put in again. And then watch whoever he runs with, even if it is Kamala, because that's going to be your real president. She's going to be locked in there for I would say 8 years. After that, I'm projecting this. I'm calling this now, and it's going to be what would you call it?
Imagine? Can you imagine if Joe wins again and dies like the first year in office? So then Kamala serves out that first term, can run 2 more times.
Yep.
Right. But then that does set up a little bit of a quandary when I'm thinking about, presidential term limits and things like that, because Trump supporters, their big argument was that he won the election in 2020. So then if he's running again, that would be so he can't, right? Because the Constitution, you can't do 3 terms. Am I missing something here?
No, it's a good point. I mean, that's kind of like, could you imagine that? Oh, wait a second. No, you just might have done something. Forget everything I just said. We're going to come up to like the primary of the 2024 elections. And you heard it here. Austin Peterson first said this. And then it's going to come out. Hi, ladies and gentlemen, we have an announcement to make. It turns out Donald Trump did win the 2020 election. Therefore, he is not eligible to run for this election. And you watch just mass chaos in the streets. That's maybe how they do that.
See now, that would be amazing. And the Democrats would actually have a brilliant strategy there if, like, at some point in the next year, they ran with actually, you know what? Trump did win the last election. So that means he can't run again.
Oh, can you imagine that concession right there? Yeah, we messed up.
Right.
We messed up bad. He did win. So yeah, he can't run this time.
Yeah.
Hey, Michelle, do you want to run now? Tuck it back. We got to go.
If you're just tuning into the Wake Up America show and you're enjoying the content, make sure you smash that like button. We are streaming on multiple platforms today. The one where I met my good buddy Dominic Izzo here now, the Spreely app, part of the Freedom Hub network. Dominic, tell us a little bit about your show, The Rants of Izzo. We'd like to learn a little bit more about you.
So myself and my glorious co-host, Common Sense Ashley, we were on at 7:00 Eastern. That's 4 Pacific, live Monday through Friday on Freedom Hub, or you can watch us at rantsofizzo.com. We try to come at every angle possible on everything from politics to everything, entertainment, trends, you name it, with a little bit of levity. Because by the time that people wake up with you and they enjoy their day and they're saturated with the garbage during the news in the afternoon, by the time they get to us, we want to just be able to entertain people and kind of take their minds off a little bit of stuff. So we argue, we virtually hug. She calls me out of my garbage. It's just a great time. And
where can people go to watch your stuff?
They can go to rantsofizzo.com. It's rantsofizzo.com, or download the Freedom Hub on your smartphone, and you could watch us there.
If you thought this segment was entertaining, you should watch his show. Head to rantsofizzo.com or download that Freedom Hub app so that you can watch it 7 p.m. Eastern time. We're 7 a.m. Central time. So we're on the opposite ends of the clock, but we did manage to get him here today. So thanks so much for getting up early for us, Dominic. It's always a great conversation. We'll have to talk a little bit more about maybe martial arts
give
next
me
time.
Something funner next time.
I know. I thought you did great with this, and it was really fun. Thanks for your time today, Dominic. We'll talk to you again real soon.
Have a great day.
Yeah, what do you think of Dominic Izzo? Send us a text, 573-319-1586. That's 573-319-1586. Welcome to the show. If you're just tuning in now, it's nice to see nice big audience growing over there on Rumble, and a good bigger audience over on YouTube. You guys are awesome. Glad to have you here. You can text the show again, 573-319-1586 if you'd like to have your text message read on air. Quest Fanning sent a message. DeSantis was the first person other than Trump I thought of as a likely presidential candidate who had MAGA support. I thought folks had actual disconnect from MAGA from Trump worship. Less sure of that now. You can send in your text as well. 573-319-1586. And you can have your text read on air. Good morning to the lovely Stephanie Peterson joining us on the live stream. Good to see you here. Sarah Nichols is joining us here as well. Dominic is fun, wacky, and sexy, says Sarah Nichols. Oh, somebody's got a crush. Glad to see you here today as well, Sarah. Thank you. Thankful so much to all of our listeners and watchers. If you're viewing us now, make sure that you click that like button and, of course, subscribe to the channel so that you can get the message of economic freedom and personal liberty delivered to you every morning. The Wake Up America show is live 7 to 9 a.m. Central Time, Mondays through Fridays, and we're grateful to have you here. Today is Thursday, so it is the day that I want to talk to you about my friend. Both Dominic and I are connected to our buddy John Burke. If you haven't seen his products, shellshockcbd.com. They're a fantastic line of products that I highly endorse and recommend. These are a line of CBD and Delta 8 products, and he was recommending the roll-on roll-out, which is this CBD roll-on for aches and pains. It's kind of a freeze roll-on, and boy, I'll tell you, I've got all kinds of aches and pains from my workouts. And this morning when I was getting out of bed, I was limping. Like I was like heavy on one side. I probably should have taken this home with me last night and given it a try. I have tried the Delta 8 and the CBD products, the gummies, and I can say that one, they're delicious, and two, they're highly effective, and it's kind of scary. So this weekend, I'm going to get into those a little bit more, but I have to be careful about those on the weekdays because I love to party, but sometimes there's too much party. You got to watch out. So if you're looking for something that's highly effective to help you with pain or with sleep, visit shellshockcbd.com. Use my code AP4, the number 4, AP4 Liberty. And I think you will be delighted with the products that you get there. Not only because the products are safe, effective, and helpful for you if you're losing sleep or if you need to deal with pain, but if they're not effective for you, my buddy John will give you a money-back guarantee. So products that you can find over at shellshockcbd.com. Watch out for that Delta bar. That sucker's got 40 milligrams in each little brick. But if you're into a good time, then shellshockcbd.com has you covered. Use the code AP4, the number 4, AP4 Liberty, and we will be back. Oh my God, I can't wait until Camellia comes here in 10 minutes. We're going to have a good time. Dominic was really jealous about the topic that I had for Camellia, and he was jealous that we weren't talking to him about the Got Wood campaign. That's all right. Maybe next time we'll have Dominic on for the fun topics. But you know that Camelia's going to be on for the good stuff. It's going to be great. Oh, and I also have some news. Some actual news. Well, you know what? I'll have to wait till tomorrow when Steffi comes in because it's kind of related to Stephanie. Some good news for the Wake Up America show. We'll be back. We'll be back. At WakeUpAmericaShow.com.
Want an engaging website to boost your business? You're just a click away from 5-star Fiverr talent. Hundreds of freelancer skills like web design. Head to Fiverr.com today and get something started.
American conservatism is distinct, like America is distinct from the United Kingdom. American conservatism's roots comes out of the Wild West, out of pioneerism. The difference between American conservatives and European conservatives is that Americans are cowboys. We are that God, guns, gold, and girls. It's wild here, and we should stay that way. We shouldn't allow a European version of conservatism to come and infect us here. We like it wide open spaces here, you know, deep in the heart of Texas and all that.
Hey there, it's your favorite Vice President Joe Biden. I wanted to talk to you today about the Wake Up America show, the best source for all your political news and commentary. But before I get started, let me just make sure I have all my notes in order. Okay, where was I? All right, the Wake Up America show. It's a great way to stay informed and make your voice heard. Boy, what was I saying again? Oh, right. The Wake Up America show. It's important that we all stay engaged and knowledgeable about what's going on in our country and, you know, the thing. But hold on, where was I going with all this? Oh, yeah. The Wake Up America show. It's a fantastic resource. And if you really want to make a difference, man, you can sign up to be a monthly donor at wakeupamericashow.com/support. Now, where was I? Oh, that's right, the Wake Up America show. So if you want to stay woke and support a great cause, head on over to wakeupamericashow.com/support and sign up to be a monthly donor today. And if you're feeling generous, you can even give a donation in my name. Thanks for listening, and keep on keeping on, America. Come on, man.
Thank you for watching the Wake Up America show with my dad. Today, I'd like to share with you 3 reasons why you should visit Dad's online store at apforlibertyshop.com. Number 1, you can get exclusive freedom-loving merch designed by AP himself or me mom, Steffi. Liberty Laura has made some designs as well, and blimey, they are great. Number 2, most of these products are so wicked that they aren't even allowed to be advertised on Facebook or Instagram. Modern machine guns and a proper keychain. Plus, our Grover Cleveland t-shirt is so spicy, apparently, that leftists on Facebook specifically banned it from appearing on the website. Number 3. You're supporting liberty lovers just like you. Spend your money where you earn it, and you help me pups build a community that supports what you believe. Bloody hell! This commercial is running too long. Gotta run. Bye now. Don't forget to visit apforlibertyshop.com. That's apforlibertyshop.com.
Good morning, Rise and Freedom. I'm Austin Peterson. You're watching and listening to the Wake Up America show at wakeupAmericaShow.com. Well, her body may be in Southwest Missouri, but her mind is already in a tropical sunny isle. Camellia Peterson joining us right now. Looks like it's from the beach, but you know that's fake as hell. She's joining us here. Hi, CJ. How you doing?
Good morning. My body is ready.
My body is ready. Where are you going, CJ, all dressed up like that?
We are well, I have a work conference this coming week in Orlando. Our national all-staff retreat is in Orlando, but my mom and Felicity, my younger daughter, and I are going to fly in a few days early and go get some beach time and sightseeing time ahead of time.
That sounds great. So you're flying into Orlando. Are you guys going to go woke and broke at Disney World?
No. Oh my gosh, no.
You don't want them grooming your kids? What? Come on.
Yeah, no. And honestly, it's really not my idea of a good time, but
My buddy Matt Mahler the other day was sending me messages. He's like, you know what? I took my kids to Disney World the other day, and they had a good time, and no costume character tried to touch my kids.
Well, I call that a win, right? I mean,
Camellia, we are going to miss you though next week. I don't know what I'll do to fill your time, but I am glad that you're going to get a little bit of a vacation because you've been working with power tools, Mama.
oh my gosh. Yeah. The work is not finished yet, but we persevere.
Yeah. So while you're down there in Orlando, have you set aside any time to maybe pick up some guys and go on a little date or two?
I really haven't prioritized that as of yet.
Really? You would think. I mean, there's a lot of eligible conservative men down there in the state of Florida. I mean, the government, from the top on down, the leadership in Florida is a lot of good Republicans, and I'd imagine that that'd be something as an eligible female that you might be interested in.
Well, they'd have to lose a little bit of that authoritarianism to really have a shot, but I'm not that. Okay, so not that a little authoritarianism isn't a good thing sometimes, but that's another story. Okay, anyway.
Are you trying to suggest that the non-aggression principle doesn't apply in the bedroom?
What?
Jeez, how squirmy. Wow. I can see the heat on your neck. It's already starting to pick up, and we haven't even started the article yet. Good morning. Welcome to the Wake Up America show. I'm Austin Peterson, speaking to my friend Camellia Peterson. We are not related. And every once in a while, we like to talk about things that are going to make her squirm. I read this essay in the New York Post. She says, I make men submit a 500-word essay to date me, colon. Do not waste my time. Lauren Kempton from England requires her suitors to write a 500-word essay if they want to date her. Let's just work off of the headline for a moment before we talk about some of the other factors in this, the other variables. And just give me your big picture take on this one. Do you applaud her for this?
Well, when you first sent me this, I was just laughing, and I was like, yes. But I mean, like for me though, that's probably different than maybe for a lot of women, because you kind of alluded to it earlier. I really like the written word, and so how somebody writes tells me a lot about them, and so that's it can be attractive to me just reading what someone writes and how they write. That tells me a lot about them. But anyway, yeah, I get the do not waste my time part too, although you got to get to know somebody, so what are you going to do?
All
I
right.
don't know
Well,
about it as a
that was
serious
very
requirement, though.
ambiguous,
I know,
very
right?
platitudinous.
Right.
Although if somebody used the word platitudinous in a 500-word essay, I imagine they'd get a lot of points from you there.
Probably so.
Yes. Can you spell it?
Oh my God. Yes. Fine. Okay, so spelling bee. Plati planet. Udinous. Is that right, teacher?
I think so. I'm not entirely sure. Let's go ahead and just give her credit anyway. Um, so let's introduce one of the variables in this equation. She's 36 years old. Don't waste my time. I understand you definitely at that age, you don't want to have your time wasted. But as you get towards middle age, right? Or maybe even past middle age, um, should your standards really become more stringent? Or perhaps
I
should they become less stringent, if I'm to put it delicately?
Well, I guess it depends on what your goals are and how bad you feel like you have to be with somebody, right? I mean, if you're 36 and you're like, I really want to have more kids, then you probably will need to lower your standards a little bit. But, if you're just looking for good companionship and then, I think and you don't have to be with somebody, you're not like codependent, then, I think it's okay to keep your standards up.
Well, let me ask you something. If I were like, let's say someone were courting you, um,
By the way, I
and,
do like that she called them suitors. We should use that word more,
it is a
suitors.
good word. If someone asked you to write a 500-word essay about why they should date you, uh, oh, you're laughing. Oh, you're laughing. You think that's funny. Oh, you think that's very funny. Oh, well, that's interesting. Your reaction there tells me a lot, Camellia, but why don't you use your words?
Well, my first thought is ain't nobody got time for that.
It all sounds nice until all of a sudden the card gets turned and the Uno reversal has hit.
Yeah, for sure. And for people so not everybody is like this, but and probably more, maybe women more so than men have a hard time. Like if you're talking about job interviews or, evaluations or things like that, when you have to do that self-assessment and you have to tell what all of the good things are about yourself, that's really hard to do. It's really hard to sell yourself.
Okay,
So
so try. So, Camellia, if you were to sell yourself right now to a potential suitor who's listening in right now, what would you say are some of your better qualities?
well, I don't know. It depends. Gosh, I hate questions like this. See, I told you this is hard.
Uh,
You
can you
know
name
what? I
one?
think I think I'm pretty easy to please. I don't demand a lot of people. No, I know. Look at you. You're shaking your head. Yes, I am selective, but but I'm not easy to please. You don't have to bring me flowers every day. You don't have to, I would actually probably consider it to be a detriment if you were trying to spend a lot of money on me like that, those sort of things, I'm cheap. I'm a cheap date. Here he goes.
Sure. Okay. So if a man were to write a 500-word essay to you, that would be something that you would consider a sincere romantic gesture, and that's the kind of thing that would catch your eye.
Sure.
Right. But it just seems as if the expectations continue to get higher and higher as the woman gets older and older. And I wonder if you could just speak to that because I kind of alluded to that a little bit earlier, but I mean, again, it's different for companionship versus having kids, and I understand that thing. But let's just squish them together for just a moment and conflate for just a tad, right? And consider that perhaps as you get a little bit older, perhaps you ought to take, I don't know, maybe a broader view of the pool of dating available males because it does get smaller and smaller, right?
Sure, absolutely. And especially if you are getting older and you are single and you have children, then you have a lot of demands on your time already. So not only is the pool shrinking, but the pool of people that you're dealing with now probably also are in a similar boat.
Hmm.
And
Uh, a-
so
Go ahead.
anyway, so I'm just saying the logistics of everything is a lot different, but you do, I mean, if you want to find somebody and have that companionship, it's not you're either going to have to be okay with being alone or, lowering your standards.
If you're just tuning into the Wake Up America show, I'm Austin Peterson. Smash that like button if you're enjoying the conversation that we're having this morning, and click subscribe if you're not already. Our buddy Alex joined us in here today. First time I've seen him. He says, came here for Trump and Biden, stayed as a 36-year-old bachelor looking for companionship. Good for you, Alex. It was actually around 30. It was around that age, maybe just a little bit older, actually, that I met my forever companion. So don't give up hope. It's possible. Although it is a lot easier for guys at that age than it is for women at that age. Wouldn't you agree?
I think so. Right. I mean, for a lot of different reasons, but well, for guys at that age, it depends on what age and women that they are good with, what they're looking for. Because if they like somebody who's around their age, you're also talking about women who are very likely to be divorced or have children already. And when you talk about the manosphere and all of the things that get talked about in there, that's a big detractor.
Well, yeah, because usually guys don't typically like to take care of another man's kids. And there is a lot of shaming on men for having preferences for single women who are younger, who are unmarried, who haven't been married and don't have kids. And so I think that the manosphere sort of probably hyperbolically reacts overreacts often to the shaming that occurs because there's women get shamed for their preferences too. Men and women both, get socially shamed in order to conform to expectations and ideals, but it's just less politically correct for a man to date a younger woman, even if it's perfectly legal, because, well, the cougars who are out there who are looking for a man, they don't like the competition from the younger women. Am I wrong?
Sure, and the flip side is also true because when there are studies that have looked at this issue as far as single women with children, but the reverse is also true in that women feel the same way about single men with children because there are there's a lot of single dads out there too.
There are, but I mean, I mean, probably women may feel a similar way, would you say, in regards to divorced dad that has kids? But if he's an earner, if he's a provider, it's not really as big a deal, I would think, since men and women want different things. And if we're speaking in generalities, a man who can provide, a man who can earn, I mean, that's always going to be attractive to women. But I mean, for men, the opposite is not true. Men don't care about your ability to earn. You may be a single mom with two kids and make $10 million a year, but a man doesn't care, right?
Right. Well, I mean, I suppose so.
Right. I mean, again,
I mean,
it's
I think
I
we've
don't care
talked
if you're a
about it before.
waitress. I don't care if you're a waitress or an oil baroness.
Right, and say we've talked about this before, and there is men don't necessarily like to date women who make more than they do.
Right, and there's a lot of, like, polling that's come out that shows that, like, those men, get divorced by their wives at a higher rate. Those men have to take they tend to men who make less money than their wives are, frequently they have to take more medication in order to experience arousal. And there's a lot of, psychology that goes into that. But I also think it's just because, we're not really hardwired to care about what resources a woman brings to the table in such a way. We're more hardwired to find beauty and youth attractive, and just like women are sort of hardwired in the other way to find somebody who can bring resources and security to the table. But we kind of rage against that. There's this desire in modern society to overthrow biology in a sense, and to shame people for their wants and desires. It's kind of like, the sugar baby, sugar daddy phenomenon is a good example of that, where we kind of, you're on the shoes on the other foot. You're getting shamed as a young woman for engaging in a consensual relationship. And sometimes it's prostitution and other times it's not, right? For wanting to, young women get shamed for dating older men because they have access to resources. But I mean, they're allowed to have their preferences just like men are allowed to have theirs, right?
Sure. I mean, if a younger woman marries an older man and that sets her, for life. Do I think that she should take that for granted? No. Do I think there's anything wrong with that? Also, no. But I do think men in that situation probably should have a plan called a prenuptial in place, if you're going to do something like that, because, this, I don't know if it is as much as it has been historically, as far as, women taking all of the money whenever they divorce a man or anything like that. I think probably that's leveled out, be a little more fair. It still happens, but anyways, I do think men need to be prepared for that.
Doug H on the live stream says, I'm not aging like fine wine, more like McDonald's hamburgers, not getting better, but also not getting worse. Very funny, Doug.
Oh my gosh. I can't, well, I tell you what, Elon Musk had something to say kind of about this.
Oh, yeah? What did he say? Oh, yeah,
No,
yeah,
no.
yeah. Go ahead.
He said, to err is human, to procreate is divine. It's a little hard to sell that here because air is H-E-I-R.
Did that turn you on, Camellia?
Oh, it's fantastic. Of course, like he has like 9 kids with different women.
Right, but I don't think there's any women who's not going to date him because of that, for sure.
No.
Joni Rankin finally stepped in with that opinion that I've been waiting for because I knew that we were going to get to experience. She says, it's pretty nauseating to see 50-something men seeking and dating women less than 30. So there it is. So there it is. See, what I'm nauseated by are all these young women taking advantage of these older men. Honestly, I look at it as the opposite, right? You get all these predatory young females, 18, 19 years old, using their sexuality to take advantage of these men. Honestly, these young women are predators.
I mean, there's not too many downsides for a younger woman in that case. I mean, depending on the man. I honestly, there's sometimes on the news and on the tabloid stuff, and you see, and it's really hot, 20-something, and she's married like, an 80-year-old guy. And I'm just saying that there's lots of down.
But isn't it funny though, because women, they all want to be, they talk about how strong and independent they are and how, they're mature and they don't need no man, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But when a young woman makes a choice that an older woman doesn't like, then all of a sudden it's oh, she's naive, she's being taken advantage of. Don't worry, listen to mama, I will protect you from it. But isn't that really just older women who just want to kind of crowd out that competition in the dating pool, Camellia?
Maybe so, but I think you're right. I think that it is the younger women that are taking advantage there because,
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, they only have to put up with things for so long. Not to be morbid or anything.
Good morning. Welcome to the Wake Up America show. I'm Austin Peterson. Grateful to have you here. Smash that like button if you're enjoying the conversation. I'm speaking to my good friend, Camellia Peterson. We're talking about a story that came out of the New York Post where a woman, 36-year-old woman, says that she makes any man who wants to date her has to write a 500-word essay about why they want to date her. And it's, of course, led us down the rabbit hole to all kinds of weird conversations, as it typically does. A little bit of a slow news day, which means that we've got all kinds of goofy stuff to talk about today. Dominic was really jealous about this topic, though, when we spoke to him earlier.
She did get somebody to send her a 500-word essay, though.
And she rejected it, I'm sure.
No, actually, she didn't. She
Really?
responded because, like, there's when she said that she put this on her Hinge profile or whatever, it was a little bit, tongue in cheek and good humor, not entirely, but a little bit. And so she did have somebody respond and, sent her, and it was funny, and very nice and everything. And so she was like, well, I have to give him a chance. And so she wrote him back and, said that, that she thanked him and they were, said that would he like to set up a date. And so he he sent her back another nice formal acceptance proposing a date and a time along with a PowerPoint presentation.
That's funny. See, if it were me, I would do it, but I would just tell artificial intelligence to write
Oh
it.
my gosh. Right? Oh, that's wow. Think about that. Yeah, well, that would make it easy now, wouldn't it?
Exactly. Exactly.
Would that be like catfishing?
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Well, the funny thing too about this lady is like she's 36-year-old. She's 36, but she looks like she's going on 50. I'm dropping the link to the pictures of her in the chat there over on YouTube and on Rumble, so you all can see what I'm talking about here. But, she's 36 going on 60. But did you see my tweet the other day where I was complaining about young influencers who are like,
Yeah, that's what I was just gonna say. Yes.
yeah. So I was watching I think it was the Daily Caller or something like that, and they had this 20-year-old girl who's like doing news reporting, and she's 20 years old, but she looked like she was like 50, trying to look like she was 20 years old. There's some kind of like weird makeup trend that the kids are doing, and I know we could just joke about how they just glom it on, and that certainly looks like what it is, but their features are so severe. It's like, and maybe it's because I don't know if you've heard about this new plastic surgery that young people are doing these days, but I think it's that they actually remove the lining that holds the fat in your face, and it ages you prematurely. But it removes the fat from your face, so you have to get it filled in order to look like you have fat in your face. But they actually remove the ability for your face to hold fat cells, so if you see these 20-year-olds who look like they're 50 years old, right, it's probably because they're having this new procedure done to remove fat cells entirely. I just
That's
makes me want to
insane.
puke. It's
I
disgusting.
know. I don't understand that. Well, and that is one of the first things I noticed about this woman's pictures, in this article, is that you could just tell she wears a lot of makeup. And the thing is like the whole point of makeup is not to make it look like you're wearing makeup,
Right.
unless the whole point is to accentuate, beauty, and to make beauty look natural. Although I don't know, maybe
Yeah.
societal standards have gotten away from that. When I had home economics when I was in school, that was what I was taught anyway.
You're dating yourself with the home economics reference there. Alex on the live stream, he's being very chatty today. He says, I'm on dating sites. It's insane how women don't even write anything on their bio anymore, but they won't respond to guys unless they do. The essay thing is a byproduct of societal frustrations. John Rail says, I'm 50, look 30. Oh, really? Pretty much every woman my age on dating apps looks like they could be my mom, not aging well.
My gosh, God. Well, what's funny is I saw something the other day. So on Twitter, there's a pretty good follow. It's the guy, I think his handle is Date Psych. He's a psychologist, but he really kind of looks at a lot of things in the relationship spectrum. And so there's a lot of, data driven studies that he puts out. But he was talking about this idea of the dating apps, and there was an article that he shared, and basically in that article it talked about how a lot of the women on the dating apps are not necessarily even just looking to hook up. Like, you can't count on even getting a date with them because they just want to talk to somebody.
No, I get that. Absolutely. I was watching a video yesterday that was cracking me up. It was about this new trend of men called salt daddies. Have you ever heard this term?
No.
So they're the opposite of sugar daddies. They essentially like catfish by pretending that they're rich when they're actually not. For these women who think that they're getting a rich guy, which has been going on from the beginning of time, obviously. But I mean, it's I guess it's the male equivalent of putting on makeup. So like, the more makeup a woman puts on, I feel like the more zeros a man can add to his bank account. Would you say that's fair?
Wait a minute, the more makeup, the more zero. Oh.
They call them salt daddies.
Yeah, okay.
But what's funny is that like the funny thing too is like the women can't like, so they've apparently been creating these groups, and I was reading an article about it yesterday, creating these groups around these like sugar daddy like websites and things, where they talk about like which guy's a real sugar daddy, which one's the salt daddy. But of course, if they get scammed by a salt daddy and like say that they slept with him or what have you or stuff like that, it's not like they can go like report him to the authorities or something like that without coming out and saying, hey, I'm a prostitute. This guy isn't paying me and all this kind of stuff. So I have to say that in the salt daddies might be the only ones that I respect out of that whole. Did
All
you
I
think this is where
know
we were going
is,
today?
well, there's never any telling, especially on topics like this. Somebody asked me, what are you guys talking about? I have no idea. You never know where it's going to end up. But,
Good.
go ahead.
Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say one of the things I just don't envy online people who choose to date online. I know we know people who have met through online apps and have, it's worked out for them and they've gotten married. But you have to spend, I would think, a lot of time. And I know it just depends on what stage of life you're in, but I don't know. I don't think, I'm not sure that I would ever be in a place that I would want to try it, because it just seems like it's such a huge, huge time investment. And you don't know. I
So
mean, what you're going to end up getting.
you're not on the dating apps, Camellia?
No, not at all. Never
Okay,
have.
but you have been courted
Twitter.
since, yeah, but you
Twitter.
have been actively pursued, right? Since you became available. I mean, have there been any tactics or techniques that have particularly been effective on you?
I don't know. I I can't think. I don't know that there's anything in particular that's worked. I don't know. I tend to be friends with people first. That I don't know that there's ever been anybody who, at least not in the last, 5 years or so. I don't know that there's ever been anybody who has approached me that I have not been, acquainted with or friends with first.
Okay, well, that was a really cheap way of not telling us any
Sorry.
juicy dishing secrets on things that are going on.
I know, so I know people think all kinds of things, but the truth is that, there's not been a whole lot of pursuing going on. That's not necessarily an
Oh,
invitation either.
bull stuff. I know that the
It's
family
not.
is watching us this morning, so I'll have to be careful about that. Maybe Daniela Pensack, when she joins us here in a few minutes to talk about the sorority topic, will be more forthcoming than you. Being
Now,
so
I'm sure that
ambiguous
they're
and platitudinous, I find you to be.
well, here's the thing, and you know what? I would be interested to hear what Daniela has to say about this, because, she's, really smart, intelligent, she's funny, and I do think that sometimes that makes men hesitant to approach women.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it's intimidating as hell.
And
What,
she's really cute, but I wonder if she actually gets approached very much, because I know that, I mean,
I bet I don't know if she's got an MBA. She's kind of serious. I don't know if she wants to go there, but we'll see. Um, you know what? Jamie Marie Pope, she threw out a little bit of she poo-pooed all over your platter there when she said, "To men,
thanks,
don't
Jamie.
friend zone yourself." Yes, I agree. Don't let a woman put you in her friend zone and then expect that they're going to be like Camellia and be like, "Oh, I guess we're friends for a little while. Now I actually want to date you," because man, it ain't gonna work. Don't listen to them. Would you ask a fish how to catch a fish? No, you ask a fisherman. It's like me. Camellia.
Women get friend zoned too. I'm just saying.
Oh, yeah, I guess it does happen. Camellia, thank you for your time today. Hey, have a good time down there in the sunny state of Florida. We're going to miss you next week. Is there anything else you'd like to share with our listeners before we let you go?
Thank you. I can't think of what it would be. Everybody just have a great Thursday. I will miss you. I'm sure I'll still be popping into the chat though.
Yes, for sure. We'll look forward to seeing you from the chat, from the beach on in sunny Florida. Have a wonderful day, Camellia, and good luck down there. And let us know if you do end up going on a date.
Will do. Maybe.
Thank you, Camellia Peterson. Did you enjoy, Camellia? We're glad to have you here joining us now. If you did, you liked the conversation, you had fun, and you got the giggles like Joni Rankin said that she did, then why don't you drop a like or subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Just a simple little way to help support the show. You can also visit my awesome libertarian merchandise shop at ap4libertyshop.com. Have you seen my new line of whiskey glasses? I've got a brand new line of whiskey glasses. I think you're really going to like my new one. Untaxed whiskey is the best whiskey. It's already becoming a bestseller at the shop. Check it out at ap4libertyshop.com. All right, let's talk to Daniela Pensack, but probably not about her dating life. I don't know. She seems like the type who would be like, she just got to shoot that down. We'll see. That's the thing. That's what Camellia was saying. She's kind of terrifying. We'll talk to her about that sorority that had the man in the sorority, and apparently he really likes being in the sorority, but he pretends to be a girl, but he doesn't actually pretend to be a girl. He just says he's a girl. It sounds like a great movie to me, but it's reality. It's 2023 on the Wake Up America show at wakeupamericashow.com.
Good morning to the Cantina crew. This is Elon Musk, the CEO of Twitter. And I just want to say thank you for watching the Wake Up America show. I've decided that Austin Peterson will be the new CEO of Twitter.com, effective immediately. First thing to do, though, is I've got to go and blast off into space.
If there wasn't going to be somebody who was a fiery champion of liberty, somebody who would get out there and who would be aggressive, and if they wouldn't do it with more fire or passion than I had, then I would go and I would fight this battle for us. I've fought for the principles that we all share. Parties tend to be secondary to me. We're here because we believe in the principles of liberty. I am not a perfect messenger, but I think I'm a damn good one. This is a replica of our first president's flintlock pistol. You have my full support, my respect, and my gun.
I think that at the heart of my philosophy is much more libertarianism than well, that's the fashionable word these days, I guess. A conservative is no longer just that. He's a libertarian and always has been.
Yet any time you and I question the schemes of the do-gooders, we're denounced as being against their humanitarian goals. They say we're always against things, we're never for anything.
What is fascism? Fascism is private ownership, private enterprise, but total government control and regulation.
Well, the trouble with our liberal friends is not that they're ignorant. It's just that they know so much that isn't so. If we lose freedom here, there's no place to escape to. This is the last stand on earth. This is the issue of this election. Whether we believe in our capacity for self-government or whether we abandon the American Revolution and confess that a little intellectual elite in a far distant capital can plan our lives for us better than we can plan them ourselves.
The conservative, so-called, is the one that says less government, get off my back, get out of my pocket, and let me have more control of my own destiny.
What would happen if I had to pick up the phone, call 911 for one of my family members or one of my neighbors? What would I do if no one was on the other end to respond? What if there was no 911? You can be a part of the solution.
Anybody can be a firefighter. Male, female, younger, older.
We have school teachers. We have leaders in business.
Is me, you, anyone that wants to be. There is no typical firefighter.
Do you hate the deep state? Do you reject the Antichrist in all his ways? Do you believe that aliens controlled LBJ to assassinate John F. Kennedy? Did you know that the shot can put chemicals in you that will make you more sensitive to 5G? Do you love America? Do you want more freedom? Do you like smoking hot red-headed libertarians? Then the AP for Liberty shop is for you! Check out all the awesome new merch and have a happy new year! Fight the deep state, reject the Antichrist! Visit AP for Liberty shop and get your patriotic merchandise now, or the deep state wins!
Good morning, Rise and Freedom. I'm Austin Peterson. You're watching and listening to the Wake Up America show at wakeupAmericaShow.com. It's 8:30 a.m. Central Time here on, well, I guess we're on the Missouri River, if you will. But over on the West Coast, it's much earlier. My next guest has decided to generously donate her time to the Wake Up America show once a week, every week at this time. It's way early over there on Pacific time. Daniela Pensack, she's a coordinator for Turning Point USA, a field coordinator, is joining us now and will be joining us every Thursday from now until eternity. Good morning, Daniela. Thanks so much for joining us. Nice to see you here.
It's good to see you too. I'm really excited to have my slot here for eternity. So
Yes,
that's really good news.
Contractual for all eternity. Your soul is mine. Hey, so I hope you weren't too offended by what Camellia and I were talking about a little bit about your dating life, either existent or non.
No, it's fine. You guys aren't the first ones to speculate on my dating life anyway. I'm quite used to it. So it's
Would you
kind of
say
like
men
par
are
for the
pretty
course.
intimidated though, because you got the MBA, you're super smart, and you know.
It really depends on the person at the end of the day. I'm sure there are a few. I mean, no one really comes up to me and says, I'm intimidated by you. I guess maybe that happened like once or twice. But I mean, I'm sure it's a reality. I understand that, but at the same time, I think I'm pretty approachable. At least I try to be.
Yeah, well, I'm terrified, so I'm pretty sure.
It happens. It's okay.
Just kidding, just kidding. Welcome to the Wake Up America show. Daniela is the highlight of Thursday, says Hotwater84. Glad to have you here, Hotwater. Thank you for the kind comments. It's nice to see so many new names and faces here in the chat. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, make sure that you do that so you can see Daniela's lovely face every Thursday at this time, and click that like button as well. Daniela, this story that you brought to me the other day about this sorority that I guess was forced to allow a man to join sounded to me like the plot of a 90s college sex comedy, but it's a real story. You want to fill us into the details?
Yeah, it really does sound like it, the more I looked into the story. So there is a sorority in the University of Wyoming, called Kappa Kappa Gamma, or just KKG, and they have a gender inclusive policy where they can allow basically anyone in now, as long as they identify as a female. And for all intents and purposes, the individual, he's a man who decided to join because as far as what's been described of him, his name's Artemis, that joined the sorority. He's 6'2", 260 pounds, and he's straight, so he's attracted to women. And also, I mean, apparently he did not try to socially transition. So that means like he's not passing as a female at all. He doesn't try to at least look the part. So, naturally this made a lot of the ladies uncomfortable. And 7 of the women involved in the sorority tried to sue and try to get the gender inclusive and policy repealed. But they try to do it anonymously. But the district judge, he said, if you want to do this case, you gotta have to come out publicly. So now, they're and how universities are now. They're putting their enrollment on the line here. It could be a major problem, but these women are pushing the case forward, and it's kind of sad to see them. As I've talked previously before about other stories, we do see judges kind of like siding with these trans individuals, and it's just kind of sad to see that, especially if these women feel unsafe.
Yeah, no kidding. They do feel unsafe, Daniela. From the article that I was reading that you cited, he creeps on them, he stares at them. They frequently see him like being aroused while he's watching them. And I mean, call it what you will. It might be the greatest troll of 2023. But at the end of the day, the sad reality is that these women are scared that they might become victims, and that's a very realistic fear.
Yeah, it is. And I did have to question myself a couple times. Is it a troll? Is this like, one of those 4chan people that are, because you hear them do like these troll campaigns that ended up having real life consequences. And that's kind of what I'm considering here, like what's going on here. Again, for all intents and purposes, this is a man we're talking about, no social transition effort, is attracted to women, if anything, he just has a feminine name. And really, like, this is a horror story that we have seen Republicans talk about years prior, where they say, if we accept gay marriage, this is what's going to happen. We're going to have men going into women's spaces just without even trying. And I don't know, I guess they were right in this case, because we're seeing it unfold in real time.
So the solution to something like this, I want to live and let live, Daniela. I want to live in a world where gay married couples can defend their marijuana fields with fully automatic machine guns. but I don't want to live in a world where creepy guys can claim that they're women and go into women's bathrooms, force join private institutions like sororities and put women at risk where when it's absolutely not necessary. So, although I don't necessarily buy into the whole slippery slope argument, I don't think that it's because gay marriage was legalized that all of a sudden, creepy men want to, go into women's bathrooms. Well, they've been doing that since forever. But there are people who are out there from typically on the left, these social justice warriors who have been advocating for critical theory, or what we might call wokeism now, who really they don't believe in this fundamental concept of truth at all. So for them, I mean, they really are anarchists in the purest sense of the world. Anything goes, and absolutely no norms or morality need apply because there is no objective morality to these people. Am I right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm kind of I'm in the same boat. I'm a live and let live type of person too. If people whatever people do in their bedroom, that's their problem, their business. Um but yeah, there has to be a line drawn here. If you have people feeling unsafe, and I don't see why anyone would feel unsafe around a gay couple, clearly I don't have a problem with that. But if people are feeling unsafe, like in this circumstances, you have to kind of draw the line somewhere and recognize what objective reality is. And objective reality is that men, in women's spaces like a sorority, men who clearly are straight shouldn't be in that situation, and it could come off as a little predatory. And when we're having higher up people in higher positions like judges kind of going out of their way to coddle this narrative, these people, it kind of makes you question about what's really going on here. Because at some point we just have to draw a line and say, look, objective reality is reality. Women feel unsafe in a female space around straight men, which is what this guy is. So yeah, and it's not doing people any favors. The professors who are teaching the woke ideology, the judges that are going out of their way to protect these people, it doesn't do them any favors as far as the live and let live narrative. Because I feel like we should protect the live and let live narrative, but we have to do it reasonably. And when you let these things happen, you're making these ultra traditional conservatives feel like they've been right this entire time, and that's the real problem here too.
For sure. That's a good take. If you're enjoying the content that you're listening to right now, make sure you click that like button. We're grateful to have a nice big audience here today with us between our YouTube and our Rumble, Freedom Hub app, and Twitch. We are definitely going strong with over 100 people watching us live. According to my count from all the different social networks, grateful to have you all here. Make sure that you click subscribe so that you can enjoy this content. Again, we are streaming this show every Monday through Friday from 7 to 9 a.m. Central Time. It's a great way to start your day to talk about what's happening in news and politics. And we have great guests like my current guest. She is a field coordinator for Turning Point USA, Daniela Pensack. This is her regular weekly spot now, and we're grateful to have her take on the news of the day. So, speaking of creepos and pervos, Hunter Biden, apparently the investigation into Hunter Biden is at a bit of a standstill now with the latest news that you shared with me the other day that apparently the people who were investigating Hunter Biden's affairs have all been fired by the IRS. What's the news?
Yeah, so as we all, or some of you may not know, Hunter Biden's taxes was under investigation since 2018. There's a lot of problems going on there, and there has been a group of investigators involved with the IRS that were looking into that. And whistleblowers, one in particular, has come out and he said, since under the Biden administration, the IRS has gone out of its way not to look or to like obstruct the investigation. And for that reason, because the whistleblower came out, the IRS has fired a group of these investigators. And and it kind of just it's out in the open that the IRS working with the Biden administration, they're going out of their way to kind of cover for Hunter Biden, and it's a clear indication of corruption happening. Not that that's surprising in government at all, but it's kind of like out in the open, and when they do firing en masse like this, it just kind of looks a little suspicious.
Yeah, no
So
kidding.
yeah.
Because I mean, obviously, the Department of Justice getting involved in this situation makes has Biden's fingerprints all over it. I mean, the president's been doing everything he can to try and cover for his son, but I mean, The president's son has on camera committed multiple crimes for which you or I would be thrown away in jail and thrown into jail and have the key thrown away, wouldn't we?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's kind of like the way it is in Paul. And this is why I am, natural libertarian, because I see when people are in higher positions of power, what always happens, and we've seen this time and time again, any civilization, any point in history, people in power get away with crimes far more than the common man does. And that's clearly a problem. And I personally feel, when there's large concentrations of power like this or centralized power, this always happens. And it's really discouraging to see this when you see, the world leaders get away. Again, this is a reality that we're all used to, we're all aware of, but at some point we just have to take a stand and say, look, we need to decentralize this, because the more this happen, the more that we centralize the power, the more this stuff is going to happen, and the more we're going to see bad people get away with bad actions.
If you're just tuning into the Wake Up America show, good morning. I'm Austin Peterson. I'm speaking to Daniela Pensack this morning about news that you can use. Make sure you click that like button if you're enjoying the content. We're hearing from our live stream listeners this morning on all kinds of great comments. Hot Water 84 with the jokes. She says it's like Leah Thomas in the women's swimmer locker room. It's not right. Yeah, that was another issue, right? That apparently the women who were working with Leah Thomas or had to be in the same locker room had to see her fully nude in front of them, which is,
Yeah, they
God,
felt
that's
really,
awkward.
according to Riley Gaines, who's, has her tour, and she goes out and talks about this. And she talked about multiple times how, yeah, they felt like anytime Leah Thomas came into locker room and like stripped down, it was like super silent. They could hear a pin drop because they felt so uncomfortable about the situation, which,
Yikes. That
obviously
is
anyone would. Yeah.
that's awkward. Now I wonder though what it would be like if like a woman who still looked like a woman was naked in the guys' locker room. We haven't had that situation yet. See, isn't it funny how how the dynamic is completely different though underneath that scenario, which just shows that really is a difference between men and women.
Yeah, there is an obvious difference. Absolutely. Yeah, you don't see a lot of trans men really compete as often. I mean, there are some, but most of the time they don't win, first of all. And yeah, you don't hear the stories as often as the other side of the coin. I wonder why.
And speaking of coin, our buddy John Knox said that he's been building up a small silver coin collection. I've bought more silver this year than ever before, especially with the recession and devaluation of all fiat currencies. That's a smart move there, John. We love it if you would do us a favor and visit our friend Lear Capital at learaustin.com. When you make your silver purchases in the future, just visit them at learaustin.com. That's learaustin.com. Check out their silver prices, and they will work to get you a better price than their competitors. So definitely check them out at learaustin.com. Joaquin Dante, Octo Squid, here is joining us. He says, go, Daniela. She's not going to go yet. She's going to stick around with us for one more topic, but she is also doing a great job. Daniela, one last question here for you. I guess one last topic. You brought this to my attention. I know that you're younger than me. Probably some might say much younger than me. I wouldn't go that far. But Indiana Jones, as an 80s baby, I was born in 1981. Indiana Jones was everything to the young men and maybe a lot of young girls like Indiana Jones too growing up. But it was really it was a movie about masculinity, about the American man who was not only a genius archaeologist, but was also an action adventure hero. And he saved the day. He got the girl. He found the golden idol, and he went home with his little Chinese boy, hanging on the back of his car. And it was a good time was had by all. The fourth movie that came out, The Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, was a huge flop, and it makes sense why. It was a terrible film, and I pretend that it doesn't exist. But they're doing a new movie, a fifth movie, The Dial of Destiny, and I've been terrified that this movie was going to be not only worse than Kingdom of Crystal Skull, but it was going to embody everything that I hate about new Hollywood. And this article that you shared with me, I don't want to believe it, Daniela, but please just tell us what they're doing to my Indiana Jones.
Yeah, I know it's a really unfortunate situation, especially when you're a fan. So there was a clip that resurfaced, or surfaced of a part of the movie, and I think it's just being released in Disney Plus. I don't think it's being released in theaters, but I could be wrong about that. But anyway, in the clip there is a golf cart chase, I guess, race chase between the protagonist Indiana Jones and a female protagonist, and with
Golf
I
cart
guess
race.
Yeah, they're not even going that fast, so I don't know why the stakes aren't that high. But golf carts can't go like more than what 12 miles per hour. I could be wrong, maybe, but I know they don't go very fast. But anyway, they make it look fast in the scene. My point is though, the woman, she had kind of a girl boss moment in the scene. It's a very brief scene, but she talks about how she calls herself resourceful and self-sufficient. And after that, Indiana Jones jumps from his little cart to hers, and she kind of like saves him. And there's like a a major girl boss moment in that clip. And that's causing a little bit of a stir. Now, to be fair, it is just like a brief clip. I don't know if that's going to ruin the entire movie, but when stuff like this happens, it's kind of like suicide for the film because I don't think anyone's going to watch it now, especially with Disney's reputation lately. And yeah, that's kind of, and apparently I've heard over Twitter, now I don't know if this is true, I just saw over Twitter this morning, but apparently she also talks about she blamed Indiana Jones for taking advantage of indigenous populations as well. And if that's true, I have very low expectations of the film, more than I initially thought. But that's kind of the clip that resurfaced and caused the conversation here.
Yeah, I watched the clip and it was a tad bit cringeworthy. And the
Yes.
problem is that they milk these franchises like Star Wars and Indiana Jones. And they were even talking about like doing another Back to the Future, and I'm just like, no, 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 please. Who wants to see Marty McFly with Parkinson's disease? All this stuff. It's just like we don't need to see it, right? The thing is that because they've run out of ideas, because Hollywood cannot do anything. All they can do is milk old franchises or do fake if stories like Cleopatra if she was black. Did you see this Jada
Yeah.
Pinkett Smith controversy there?
I saw it. Yeah.
How did they do that? I didn't watch it. I didn't watch the show, but I guess it's supposed to be a documentary. I'm not entirely certain, or if it's supposed to be a dramatic reinterpretation. But they're kind of like they're mad at people for pointing out that Cleopatra wasn't black. Dude,
Yeah.
like everybody knows that she was Greek. I mean, she's Ptolemaic Greek. For God's sakes, like
Yeah.
Little
Well, if
Mermaid.
anything, like if fantasy, okay, like the Little Mermaid thing, I kind of see both sides because it's like on the one hand, it's a fictional creature or whatever, but when you bring history into it and you make them black, it's just very, very strange. I'm
Pause.
definitely against that.
Okay,
Yeah.
fictional characters, right? Little Mermaid, one thing. Okay, fine, it's a fictional character. Don't the left is like, oh, don't get all worked up about it. She's just a fish. It's a fictional character. We can make her whatever color we want. But when Super Mario is played by Pratt, and he's not
Yeah.
Italian, and they're all upset because they're like, oh, well, there's no Italians, there's no Latins that are voicing the characters for the Super Mario Brothers, then they still get upset. It's almost as if they have a double standard. You know what it is? It's anti-Italian discrimination.
Yeah, big time. Another thing I've noticed though that with the whole like the mermaid situation, I've noticed at Disney they make a lot of fictional characters black because I've heard they made Tinkerbell black on the newest Peter Pan movie. They
Oh,
made
they did,
Ariel
yeah.
black, and the fairy in Pinocchio. I don't know if you saw, but she was a complete different interpretation of what the original or the original movie had. Like she was a bald black woman. And I'm just thinking like, why are they making all the mythical creatures black? I just think that's a little weird, right? Like it's always the fantasy, the mythical. It's never like the main character or like the characters, the human characters. So I don't know what they're trying to accomplish there. I just think Disney should maybe like, go back, wind back a little bit on making all the
I
fictional
remember when this all
creatures black.
started. Remember this when this all started back in the 90s when The Lion King came out, and people were mad that the character Scar had a black mane because they're like,
So it's happening even then. Okay.
yeah, yeah, but it was like it was a little bit more subtle and stupid and outrageous, but definitely not to this level. Daniela Pensac, this is your Thursday time slot every Thursday from now until eternity, as we have stated before. Is there anything else you'd like to share with us before we have you on for your next regular segment?
Nothing major. Just, follow on my socials if you haven't already. Official Daniela Pensac on Instagram and Pensac Daniela is my tag on Twitter. Follow me. I post a lot of awesome content on there.
Yeah, absolutely. Her TikTok's really fun where she does all the conspiracy theories with
Oh
like this
yeah,
weird,
that one.
creepy, weird, creepy voice.
Yeah, follow it before I get banned, by the way, because I'm on the edge apparently. So follow. It's just official Daniela Pensock on TikTok too.
There it is, Daniela Pensack. We'll be seeing her again next Thursday. Thank you very much for your time, Daniela, and we will see you again next week. Have a great one.
Awesome. Thank you. You too.
Thanks very much. We appreciate her. Give her a round of applause. She gets up way early. It's 2 hours earlier over there on the West Coast. Yeah, she's out there in on the West Coast, and she is going to be doing this every Thursday for us. So she's committed to getting up early for us, and we appreciate that. Let's give her another round of applause. What do you say? Why does the Black Mermaid have a Spanish father? Asks rvolt24. You guys. Pro tip, they never make the villains black, Joaquin Dante says. Why does the White Prince have a black mother? How dare you ask those kinds of questions?
How dare you?
How dare you? Send the FBI.
FBI, open up!
We're going to come get you for that one. You're not allowed to ask those kinds of questions. Boy, it's great to meet all of our friends over on Rumble today with all of the comments, cries of treason, Nelson65, our buddies over there on Rumble. It's nice to see are helping us to grow, to spread the message of freedom. And then we've had a pretty nice audience over on YouTube as well. Give yourselves a round of applause. I'm grateful for you all. If you haven't commented over on Rumble, you're probably, sitting back, lurking, listening to the show and wondering, who is this Austin Peterson guy? Well, I am a former libertarian presidential candidate. I am an activist. I am a former television producer for the Fox Business Network. I call myself a philosophical libertarian, and I believe in economic freedom and personal liberty and the Constitution of the United States, which is what I stand for. I try and strive for the absolute best in life, but sometimes we all fall short, and my shortcomings happen live here on camera. So you never know when I'm going to say or do something stupid for tons of people to be able to see, to ensure that I'll never be able to successfully run for office ever again. Not that I ran successfully the first 2 times, but I'm pretty sure that this show and the archives that exist will guarantee that no public office shall be held by Austin Peterson. What do you think? This is the outro music. We're getting towards the end of the show. That's what that means. I want to invite you to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I see our friends over there who are watching us over on rumble.com today. If you enjoyed the content, click that subscribe button over on Rumble and join us every Monday through Friday from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Central on the Wake Up America show. I'm doing my best to bring you the absolute tippity top of talk, news, and entertainment here 5 days a week. And if you want to get more of this content, then just subscribe to that channel so that you can hear more from me and my friends like Daniela Pensack, like Camelia Peterson, like Dominic Izzo. Ask yourself where else you're going to get great commentary like this to start your day and get you up early in the morning, listen with your family, because it does, even though it gets PG-13, we always try and tamp it back down to the PG area, so it can be a lot of fun and a lot of people can listen to it. All right. I just got a lot of gratefulness to offer to our friends, the Cantina crew. Studio 314 has been a big supporter, stepped in to help support the show by making a great purchase yesterday at apforlibertyshop.com. Jamie Marie Pope, she's the same. She's got her Wake Up America mug. Farmer Far 1955 is here with us today. I believe that's my friend Forrest. Hot Water 84 came in with the jokes today and then the great comments. rvolt24 is here with us. Robbie Theriman. Koi1 is here with us as well. John Knox, make sure you check out that learaustin.com website and get your silver from my friends over there. Let them know that I sent you. Rare Camellia, she's going to be gone next week. Who am I going to get to fill in the time with my twice a week Camellia segments? I have no idea. Make sure you visit the apforlibertyshop.com website. Do it now. The show is over. It's a great time. Head over to apforlibertyshop.com. We've got some awesome shirts. We've got some really cool 3D printed merchandise like my Donald Trump Buddha, which I print myself and my lovely wife mails out. Yes. Oh. Oops. What do you do? Yes, the God Guns Gold and Guys shirt. Cheeky Mary, you know what? I'm going to make it as soon as this show is over. So it will be like 15 minutes from now. That shirt will be up in the shop for you. Okay? So I'll get that up for you and you can get it over there at apforlibertyshop.com. Go on over there. Do me a favor, guys. just if you haven't viewed the shop before, maybe you're like, oh, I'm not necessarily in the mood to buy. Just go browse it. Go take a look around and then throw some items in your shopping cart that you like, that you think you might want later, right? Maybe Christmas season or something like that. Just get an idea, because there's always sales and coupons and things like that we're offering on the site. So it's not like Budweiser where they have to like give the items away, but I do give, generous coupons from time to time, especially if you're a monthly subscriber. But do me a favor and head over to the shop if you haven't been there especially, and just browse around and throw some items in the cart that you see that you like, that you might want to get later. And then you can, if you decide to get some, you can support the show. All right. Tomorrow is Friday. That means it's Family Friday. My beautiful, smoking hot, redheaded libertarian wife, Stephanie Peterson, will be joining us. And we've got an exciting new announcement, that's going to help grow the show. We're excited about, we'll tell you tomorrow. So you're going to have to tune in tomorrow on the Wake Up America Show at wakeupamericashow.com. See you tomorrow, guys.
I like shooting things, but whenever I can't shoot something, I like to cut things. My life isn't all about shooting and stabbing and cutting, though. Sometimes I have to do actual work, but when I work, I still like to have fun. And there's nothing less fun than trying to cut with a crappy knife. Thankfully, from the ancient sect of Christian knights, who also loved cutting and stabbing, comes a new implement that has received my personal blessing, the Templar knife. Like the ancient sword of Excalibur, you don't choose a Templar knife, it chooses you. You just decide what kind you want on the website first, however, and then order it online, and then it chooses you. The Templar knife comes in a variety of shapes. As a man of culture and taste, I have decided I will never use a terrible knife again. And thanks to the inspiration provided by this excellent product, I have decided to launch a new crusade against anyone using less than superior knives. Join me, brothers and sisters, by visiting uppercuttactical.com/pages/Templar-knives. That's a lot of slashes. For that, you'll need a Templar knife. For 10% off, use code AP for Liberty and join me in a quest for glory, for liberty, for Christendom, for the Templar knife. Get yours today.
Fire.
Hello, this is Barack Obama, and let me tell you why Austin Peterson stinks, and you should never pay attention to anything that he has to say. First of all, he's a libertarian, and we all know libertarians are idiots. They don't realize how important government is to everything that we do. I recently became aware that Austin has opened up a libertarian shop at apeforlibertyshop.com. Now, I'm asking you as a personal favor to me that you never ever visit apeforlibertyshop.com. With all of the great Liberty merchandise there, the last thing that we need to do is to get people spreading this message around the country, because then they might start thinking that they don't need government. And that's the last thing that good Democrats like us want. So if you love democracy, like me, and hate freedom, then don't visit AP for Liberty Shop. Like I said, whatever you do, do not visit aporlibertyshop.com. I'm Barack Obama, and I approve this message.
Want an engaging website to boost your business? You're just a click away from 5-star Fiverr talent. Hundreds of freelancer skills like web design. Head to Fiverr.com today and get something started.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move, so I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day, I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
I would remind you that extremism in the defense of liberty is no vice.
It is better to settle these matters in the courts than on the streets, and new laws are needed at every level. But law alone cannot make men see right.